almost nearly a stack of iron at this point. You will. If I'm correct, that's... Welcome, friend, welcome. Glad to have you here. Yeah. I heard that you're looking to have a iron golem generously donate to our village. I have to say, it's probably one of the most generous things that has happened around here in a long time. And, well, I got myself my iron pen here, and I'm ready to craft up the recipe with you and go through the need of materials, and we can kind of get down to the bottom of what the golem's gonna look like, yeah, and any enhancements you want to have. You see, I'm somewhat of an expert in this. I'm more of a machinery man, and I used to work pretty frequently with the iron golems that have previously been in this village, but they've since gone, and they call me the iron golem expert here. But we can go over it together and talk about the need for materials. It shouldn't be too much from an adventurer as successful as you are. We've heard quite a bit about you, and well, we do know one thing. You are quite the adventurer, and we know that with your expertise, we'll probably be building quite the fine golem here. Yeah. Well, with that being said, have you ever built a golem before? You don't need to answer it now. You can always leave it on the board outside, and I'll take a look at it and let you know. Oh, you will. Oh, I'm glad to hear it. I'm very glad to hear it, and I'm glad that we have someone as great as you. You know, technology is advancing in these parts, and we gotta take our opportunity to use the tools when we can. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and talk about the materials you need. Okay, there we are. Let's see. So firstly, if you haven't seen a golem before, they look like this. Head, body, arms, right? And then legs. This is very similar to how they look. And then, you'll forgive me, I'm not an artist, but I am a designer in terms of the machinery portion. But this is what the golem looks like. Now, there are a few things that we can kind of discuss. We're going to want to have to figure out how to do the proportions. Now, a lot of people mention that the proportions are actually, and then about 4 blocks. These two portions here are included in this. And for the head, we will need a unlit jack-o'-lantern. Okay? It'll be important to get that, so we'll need pumpkins. So with that being said, we'll need 2 iron, right? For some shears. 1 pumpkin. That will then be sheared and turned into a jack-o'-lantern. Okay, that's perfect. Now, let's get into the materials. An iron block looks something like this. If you look at this here, this is what an iron block looks like. We are going to need 4 of those. Now, to build an iron block, we will need, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 iron ingots. Okay, so 9 iron, and it's very important that we have these 9 iron for each block. So, if we're making 4 blocks, right, we're looking at 9 times 4, right? Yeah. So, that's a lot of iron. Now, I understand that we did say that you are a successful adventurer, and I don't doubt it, but are you sure 36 iron, right? Oh, well, math was never my forte. Maybe we should count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So I was correct. We're going to need 36 iron plus the 2. That'll come up to 38 iron in total. With that being said, once you have the blocks, we'll be putting them like so. Now we're gonna want to put this in a secure location. We're gonna need to do that because we want to make sure that iron golems are secured and in a safe space when they come to life. It's a little bit dangerous because we never know what's going to happen if and who they're going to see as a threat. Once it's acquired, you're going to take your pumpkin and you're going to put the pumpkin on top. And then what will happen at this point will be the golem will come to life. It's an ancient magic from a long forgotten time. They used to study said magic in the great city. However, with the fall of the ancient portions, the greater libraries have disappeared, except of course for the library of That library has stayed around for a long time. It's extremely important that we keep the library of alive. So, once we have that, we're going to move into the enhancements. There's a few things we can do to enhance our golem. One big one is the following. For example, if you had feather falling, right, this would be a really good enchantment because it would allow the golem to fly. Or if you had fire resistance, this one would allow the golem to use fire as a defense. So, for example, when it's attacking zombies or so on, those zombies would light on fire. If you gave it aqua affinity, it would be able to use water as a defense. And for that, it means like pushing the mobs away and keeping them away from the villagers. Now, as we said, the village is large at this point. We've had some construction done recently, and we have several locations where the iron golem can be put up. However, we have had requests to be putting them into the center field. This will allow the golem to patrol from each direction, and I do also recommend this. I think it's very important that we try to have that golem at the center of the village and in no other way. At this time, we're looking to have one golem built, right? However, in the future, if possible, after your generous donation, we would really like to see if we could buy 3 to 4 golems from you over time and maybe work more on a contractual basis, right? And don't worry, adventurer, I'm going to be giving you this sheet. You can take this back to your base and decide what you're going to do with it. With the contractual basis, you'll be looking at a yearly wage of 72 emeralds a year. Right? So that would be a pretty solid payment that we can make. Now, of course, we are a village. If you wanted a higher commission, it is possible. It would require more golems with better enhancements. But we would have to talk to the great city about a loan, right? And see if we can make that to you. It's not out of the question, of course. We are very interested in working with you on a longer-term basis, but your generous donation is greatly appreciated. I think it's important that we have a great working relationship with adventurers such as yourself that want to contribute to the village. And, we've been going back should name the village, and we think that it would be best to start asking you adventurers what the name of our village should be. It's quite the relaxing place, so if you come up with a nice, peaceful, and relaxing name for it, you should leave it on the board outside, and I'll bring it to the great city to see if we can get that name down. Someone such as yourself who donates a golem should have a say in that. We are so appreciative of the work that you've done for us. Yeah. With that being said, I think I'll let you go. I'm going to give this to you. There you are. Thank you so much for being here with us. We are so very appreciative, Adventure, and we hope to see you soon. And when we get those materials for the golem, let's set it up